I know there's a scale set right off the exit by the snack shack. I'm not sure. I know that they do check some things. Willamette, there's the scale set, and then they do check a few things. What they check on each car is
rev
something.
limiter is one thing. One of the weight and rev limiter is the only thing I've ever seen checked there.
And the tech officials, we have a lot of good tech officials in the Northwest. Elma, for instance, has an amazing tech official.
You have to at a big show like that, though. I mean,
and he came by our pit when we went 2 years ago and took 5 minutes and went over our car.
That's
went
it?
over it.
5 minutes?
That's all he needed. I mean, he was underneath it. He had a magnet in his hand. He was checking stuff, and I mean, it was boom, 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 boom. Let me see your chip. All right, see ya.
Wow.
I think that's an issue at Willamette. And I'm not trying to stir the pot or anything. I just think it takes.
Anybody else hasn't.
When you're talking about Joel, you're talking about you and Doug Davenport looking at somebody 100 feet away and going, "That's illegal. That's illegal." It gives you a certain animosity towards that driver. It's like, well, so then you get the animosity going amongst the drivers. Why not eliminate all that?
I agree.
And have a set tech where you check ride height and weight and a chip and everything that needs to be checked. Why?
The thing is, if you teched a open motor modified completely for every single rule, it would take you 3 hours.
No, because they do it. They did it at Bakersfield and at Vegas in five minutes each.
I'm talking every single thing.
Well, that's not what tech's about. Tech is about going through and keeping everybody honest. If there's going to be rules, let's follow the rules, and let's keep everybody honest. You don't have to check the same thing every week. You check the chip and your spoiler height one week, and the next week you're off to something else. I don't like this no tech thing.
Well, and I agree. I like when we go to the big shows, the Bud
big
Nationals,
shows, they're
the Duel of
professional,
Desert, right?
And they're doing it right.
But there's a crew. It's not one guy.
Absolutely,
They pull off the track, they weigh, before. I mean, as they unload and register, the cars are going through tech, and they're on it. They're going to find something if you're trying something. I think that's cool. I like it just because I don't think you should have to worry about getting beat by somebody that is quote unquote cheating. Let's find out who the drivers are. And IMCA they do their best to do that, and they do a pretty good job.
They do a very good job.
But then at the same time, don't get me wrong, there's nothing I like better than open comp racing like we used to have.
I agree.
Yeah.
Now you want to keep everybody on the same field, open the rules up, and don't worry about them. I mean, we had a set of rules that was no bigger than a paragraph, 2 paragraphs at most
on a Post-it.
Yeah, I mean, but it was and that was some of the most awesome racing I think we've ever seen. And you guys had seen it. I mean, the big sideboards and the fuel injected sprint car engines and late models, and and we've seen guys with. Seriously, we saw guys with 22 inches of stagger with a 6-foot sideboard at the Posse shows. I mean, that is just it's insanity. I mean, now you can't do that all the time. I get it, but I that's growing up watching it. To me, that's the greatest thing that you can watch. But I do like rules packages, and when you go, you don't have to worry about one guy with a $100,000 car having to cheat to beat a guy with a $20,000 car.
Yeah, Yeah.
Joel, you're shaking your head. You're disappointed in me.
I think he's getting mad.
I'm not disappointed. I'm not mad. I'm just sitting here listening to you, and I'm thinking about the good old days. V6.
Yeah, absolutely.
V6. Late models. You got, the sideboards and everything else. It's like, I'm just sitting here on memory lane going,
those were good days.
There is something to that.
Yeah.
There really was. I mean, so the rules for me, it's kind of like I'm one way or the other, extreme. I like both of them. Either everybody's on the same page, IROC style, I guess, or open them up and let them go.
Yep.
That was cool.
Yep.
So and that's the thing is, I'm a firm believer in you have to read the rules. You need to play by the rules, but at the same time, the greats like Chad Knaus, Ray Evernham, how many times do they get suspended for pushing the rules?
The gray areas.
Yes.
See, I don't have a problem with the gray. This is what I mean by that. When I say I don't have a problem with the gray area, I mean, like, if you look at a list of rules and it says you can do this, you can't do that. You can do this, you can't do that. If you see something that's not on that list that isn't clarified whether you can or can't, to me, you can.
Yeah.
That's how I would, like, most racers I know would interpret that.
That's the way anybody interprets
Absolutely,
it. Yeah.
I think so. Now, with the way things are, the rules are written, and then at the bottom it says, if it's not in these rules, you can't do it. That confuses a lot of people,
yeah.
I mean, because everybody's looking for that advantage. And I say that because everybody's looking for that advantage. Whatever that advantage may be.
That's a blanket sentence, to try to cover any gray areas.
It is. That's exactly what that is.
And I don't care. There's still going to be gray areas. There always
Every
will be.
racer is going to find a gray area.
Absolutely.
Exactly. And if you're not finding the gray areas,
you're not trying.
You're going to start doing it tomorrow morning when you go to the shop.
Right.
Yeah.
Because now we said gray about 5 times.
Right. But I can't get mad at somebody for that because I would look at it and say, hey, look, I can't disagree. I would do the same thing.
Exactly. You have to.
I've done it with.
I've done it too.
With my carts, I've done it, and people say, "Oh, that's illegal. That's illegal." Why is it illegal? You haven't even put a tape on the cart. This was the last time I ran up at Salem, and that's illegal. Yeah, you haven't even put a tape on the car. I mean, you haven't measured anything, and you're yelling that's illegal simply by its appearance. Okay, if it fits in that little box, kind of like chili bowl style,
right.
I think it's good to go. They measured the cart, and they said, "Oh, well, nothing we can do." I went out, and the car was wicked fast with what I did.
Was that when you went in the wall?
Yes, it was.
That was too fast, Corey.
Horsepower is how fast you get to the wall.
Yeah,
torque is how far you move the wall when you get there.
Well, I'll tell you, in that cart, I had a lot of horsepower, and there wasn't a whole lot of torque because that wall.
That was a solid wall.
I hit that wall wide open. I don't even think I chipped the paint.
Yeah. And stagger is what happens after you hit the wall.
Yeah. Oh, he had some serious left front stagger.
Yeah. Talk about stagger. I staggered around for about 3 weeks after that. I mean, I was hurting, but it's just one of those deals. Interpretation of the rules. I think that if you're gonna have a rule, you have to have a rule for everything. If you say if it's not in the rules,
you can't do it.
Yeah.
That's pretty,
because you just can't stop people from looking for that advantage. I mean, you can say it, but you're gonna have
that's
people.
That's part of the racing mentality.
The ingenuity.
Find it.
I agree. But again, I'm one way or the other when it comes to that. But we've got 7:52. We got about 8 minutes left. Anybody have any questions you want to give us a call on the Crocker's Cars call in line 503-862-3478 or on the Swears Trucking chat line. Has been very active here with a few individuals. Devin Patterson, Howard Ellis, and Nakia Thompson have been jumping in quite a bit. And I want to read what Devin's writing, but I'm not going to stir the pot. That's a big paddle, Devin. I love it, though. I mean, because he's saying the same things that we're thinking. But
yeah.
Well, we'll ask him. Can you say what he's writing? And
Devin,
he can text you yes or no.
Devin, why don't you call in?
Yeah, there you go.
503-862-3478
to talk with Devin on the air because
call him out on the chat line.
Devin is he's listening. Devin's a no holds barred kind of guy, and
or that other guy, that Howard dude.
Howard. I don't know if we want to put Howard on the air because he's stirring the pot with a big paddle too. But he did right here. He said exactly what I said. Deck height was a big issue at Willamette last year.
Yes,
we did see a lot of guys. They were pretty tight on the deck height.
They were hard on deck height, hard on spoilers last year on the late model division.
Seemed like weight was a pretty good thing they watched after the features.
Minimum weight was a big one they were watching. What else was it? There was quarter panel height. How tall your quarter panel was at the rear, on the left rear. They were watching that real hard last year.
On the left rear?
Yes.
Are you talking on the mods or the late models?
Late models.
Okay, so what wasn't it 30? Is it 38 inches? 30? I think it's 37 or 38 inches.
I can't remember the late model rules. It's been a while since I've cracked that book open. So.
I want to say from the ground it's 30.
That's deck height.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
38
well,
it's
going to be the same because they have no recessed deck lids in the rule. Meaning your sides can't be higher than the deck.
True.
So you're going to have that.
You're not okay. I was thought you were talking about drop deck. My bad.
No, not the drop deck, but on the actual sides, they can't be recessed like they used to under the outlaw rules, and which we saw some cool bodies.
Oh yeah.
I mean, with Darren Koffel's bodies and
high wallers.
Randy Boyd had some pretty creative cars. Yeah.
So is Devin calling in, or is he just going to text?
No, he's now. We got Howard,
I'm trying to
Howard Muffler. You're right.
Mufflers.
Howard is right. Mufflers were a big issue.
Oh yeah,
that was brought up a lot in the drivers' meetings, and I understand that because the city it's getting closer and closer to the track.
Yeah,
with that new subdivision built
right.
the backstretch. I mean, I understand that.
And that's the thing is, all they were asking last year is put mufflers on your car.
Right.
Put a muffler on there, guys. It's not that hard. You can go pick them up for. I don't even remember how much.
Well, then he got the engine builder going, that's too much back pressure.
You should see some of these mufflers.
No, I was going to say because I can use this as an example of the story. When we went back to Eldora to run the UMP Summer Nationals, David Hawks, Tony Whitney, Jake Blair, and myself, we all went down to run that show. We get down there, and Willamette had a no muffler rule. It was open, We get back there. We got the same motor and we've been running, same headers and everything, and UMP says they caught us on two things. Didn't have a muffler, okay, and we were 1 inch too tall on our spoiler because they didn't measure the flat surface. They had to come up and go over the lip, so we had to trim it up an inch.
Okay.
So the muffler rule, I'm not kidding you when I say this, the muffler we ended up buying from one of the parts dealers there was nothing more than an outside can with a little inside can, and the inside can had holes poked all the way around it. It did absolutely nothing to change the noise, but they called it a muffler, and we had to have it.
Really?
Absolutely.
It's probably $1.50 a piece, or
oh no, yeah, it was ridiculous.
Have you seen some of the IMCA approved mufflers?
No,
they're useless.
Well, this was not a muffler by any means. It was simply a can with the smaller can and the little can inside.
That sounds something like what we ran on some of the local NASCAR cars. That you put a packing around that. The perforated part, and the more packing you put in there, the quieter it gets.
We didn't even have that.
Really?
It was just, it was nuts. But, that's what they said we had to run, so we had to run it. And it certainly didn't make the car any quieter, I'll tell you that. But, the rules are the rules. But
wow.
Well, and sound's a big thing. You will get teched for sound at Cottage Grove.
At Willamette. We saw Chris out there last year, Yep.
You'll get teched for sound at pretty much any racetrack you go to now, unfortunately.
Well, and that's true.
Speaking of Chris, have we heard anything set in stone on anything about who's going to be filling those big shoes?
Here's what I can confirm.
No.
This is what I can confirm.
Okay.
And unfortunately, this is the worst type of confirmation I can give. I can confirm that we do have a promoter for Willamette Speedway.
I'd be careful saying that.
That is what I've been told.
Okay.
And I can confirm that. Who it is?
You can confirm that you've been told.
Can confirm that
because
firm.
I will disagree with you.
All right. Oh my! Look at the time.
I know we're getting right up against the clock at 7:58, but I will disagree with you on that statement because
I'm going to agree to disagree.
Man, we are all over the board. I'm just telling you what I have personally confirmed is that we have a promoter.
Okay.
Beyond that, I don't know anything.
Okay. Well, we will have to talk afterwards because I had a conversation yesterday that I will not be talking about, but I cannot agree.
So hopefully in the next couple of weeks we can come up with some answers on these questions because everybody wants to know.
Right. And you're right. Everybody does want to know, and I'm hoping by the next show that we can have something
set in stone.
Something
but
more.
As we get closer to race season, that is a topic that they are working on. I will say that, and there are a few options. We'll see. We'll see what they end up doing.
See what kind of official information we can get.
Right.
Absolutely.
So, again,
so happy New Year, everybody,
absolutely.
And drive safe out there.
Happy New Year. It is cold. It is icy. You guys drive safe. Happy New Year, and we will be right back here in two weeks. 6 o'clock. That would be the 18th.
Yep, 18th. I think so. Yep.
This Saturday we'll be at the Mild to Wild swap meet at the Lynn County Fairgrounds from 8 to 3.
Come out and see us.
It's going to be a great time. We'll have the Moxie booth there, and we're going to have some fun. But again, everybody, thanks for listening. We will be getting out of the studio here in just a couple moments. And again, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.